In this video we are going to talk about NFL power rankings ahead of the 2022 season. So before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. The heft of the NFL offseason is as of now behind us, with free organization and the draft adding an abundance of new ability to groups along with eliminating some. There is still opportunity to dabble around the edges of programs, yet overall, the greatest needle-moving changes have been made, so we currently have a superior thought of which groups are competitors and fakers for the 2022 NFL season. In light of that, here is each NFL group positioned into levels as we look forward to the season. Genuine contenders. 1. Bison Bills. Looking past the Bills as the absolute best program in football is extreme. They didn't come to the AFC Championship last season, yet they were 13 seconds and some self-destructive safeguard away from doing as such toward the finish of the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Allen demonstrated that his breakout year was no accident, and the Bills has had the option to add extravagances, for example, Von Miller, to attempt to put them over the top. 2. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Until we see genuine proof of Tom Brady's decay, we need to accept that he will stay as one of the really first-class quarterbacks in the game, which makes the Bucs quick competitors consistently. He is in charge. Brady's unretirement made ready for a few different players that were planned to hit free organization to return, and the group fixed up the openings that showed up in the draft. Adding a collector, for example, Russell Gage, who was a misjudged weapon in Atlanta and found the middle value of 1.96 yards per course run last season, could have a genuine effect on the offense. 3. Los Angeles Rams. The safeguarding Super Bowl champions are as of now being affronted. Before we overdo it, recall that the Rams were the number 4 seed a year prior and required Matthew Stafford to up his play from a 80.7 customary season PFF grade to 89.5 in the postseason to go on the run that they did. The Rams likewise lost basic pieces of the program, as Robert Woods, Odell Beckham Jr., Sebastian Joseph Day, and Von Miller presently play somewhere else. The Rams added Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner to assist with counterbalancing those misfortunes. However, there's a decent opportunity that, best case scenario, they have made a sideways stride in an offseason where a few competitors improved. 4. Kansas City Chiefs. With the other NFL's competitors in a weapons contest, the Chiefs decided to exchange away perhaps of the most powerful weapon, the NFL, and Tyreek Hill. They hope to supplant him not with any one player but rather in the total with the Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Sky Moore augmentations, and keeping in mind that that might be generally ideal for the drawn-out cap strength of the program, it's difficult to contend that the Chiefs won't make a little stride in reverse at first. Regardless, as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback, the Chiefs will be among the genuine competitors. 5. Los Angeles Chargers. Barely any groups were as forceful this offseason as the Chargers, who appear not set in stone to gain by the ability they have at quarterback in Justin Herbert. A long way from relapsing, Herbert's subsequent season based on his heavenly freshman mission, so the Chargers burned through a lot of cash to encompass him with ability. Adding a player, for example, Khalil Mack ought to further develop everything front and center, and J.C. Jackson adds to an optional that has a great deal of ball abilities as a unit. Drafting Zion Johnson ought to guarantee that the line before Herbert stays strong. Could be their year. 6. Green Bay Packers. Certainly, when the Packers have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, they are enduring competitors, yet they have had issues against the best groups somewhere down in the end of the season games, and that was with the best collector in the game, Davante Adams, in the setup. This offseason, the Packers lost Adams and supplanted him with Sammy Watkins and a couple of new kids on the block, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, who were the 7th and 19th collectors chose separately. To the Packers' credit, their protection might be preferable over it's been in years, and they are getting players, for example, David Bakhtiari back, yet that getting core could be a terminal issue. 7. Denver Broncos. Denver launched itself into the competitors by exchanging for Russell Wilson, giving them their most memorable genuine title-type passer since Peyton Manning. Denver presently needs to make an offense that capitalizes on Wilson at the same time without running into the very gives that the Seattle Seahawks had. Could Wilson at any point be released to be his best self without shunning a lot of the speedy, routine passes to make the offense among the association's ideal? 8. Cincinnati Bengals. Positioning the Bengals this low appears to be brutal given they were close failures of last year's Super Bowl, yet there was an affirmation that the group overachieved the year before. They were the AFC's number 4 seed prior to going on their season finisher run, and despite the fact that they have worked effectively going after the shortcomings on the list this offseason, it appears to be impossible that they rehash that sort of unlikely grouping of results this season. Cincinnati totally has the capability to battle assuming things break its direction, however the Bengals don't exactly have the mind-boggling program strength that a few groups do. 9. San Francisco 49ers. One of a handful of the groups that have a genuine possibility coming out on top for a title without a tip-top quarterback, the 49ers can rule in light of Kyle Shanahan's offense and the playmakers inside it. Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the program and might just be the starter again this season. His play has demonstrated to be adequate for this group to win when he is sound, and Trey Lance might address the emergency course of action for the possible injury to Garoppolo as opposed to the 2022 starter. 10. Cleveland Browns. Such a large amount Cleveland's prosperity relies on Deshaun Watson's accessibility, which remains totally hanging out there as the NFL makes progress toward the finish of its examination concerning his rape allegations. Indeed, even without Watson, the Browns ought to be a season finisher group. They nearly made it last season with Baker Mayfield playing from week 2 on with a gravely harmed shoulder. A solid Mayfield this season raises the floor a great deal, and Watson for the whole season probably makes them genuine competitors. 11. Baltimore Ravens. Scarcely any groups were as desolated by wounds as the Ravens last season, and it pushed them from the favorite in the AFC at one guide in the year toward beyond the end of the season games toward the season's end. Simply getting sound again makes the Ravens a genuine season finisher group by and by, and they can go on stretches of prevailing play that unnerves any group in the association. Eyes on the playoffs. 12. Dallas Cowboys. Dallas had an inquisitive offseason where each issue it confronted apparently gotten the establishment off guard. The group exchanged away Amari Cooper since it was vexed that he wasn't offering the sort of benefit his agreement proposed. Cedric Wilson additionally withdrew in free organization. They assumed they remarked Randy Gregory, yet he ended up being irritated with some agreement language, so he took a similar proposal from Denver, leaving Dallas scrambling to supplant him. By and large, this group probably wasted its time in the mud this offseason while different groups improved, yet they are as yet a decent group, generally speaking. 13. Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know any establishment had a preferable offseason over the Eagles when everything is thought of. Exchanging for AJ Earthy-colored gives them the number 1 collector they have been looking for, and it additionally permits Devonta Smith to focus on doing what he truly does well as the number 2. Adding Haason Reddick and Jordan Davis builds up a cautious front that was disintegrating from its pinnacle, and snatching James Bradberry late in the day is a truly quick marking that could have a genuine effect. Georgia linebacker Nakobe Dean could likewise end up being one of the greatest takes of the draft assuming he's the very player in the NFL that he was in school. 14. Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals some way or another shook things up move over the offseason yet may have lost ground to their opponents. Marquise Brown was procured in an exchange for their most memorable round pick, yet Brown needs to supplant DeAndre Hopkins as the group's number 1 recipient for the term of Hopkins' suspension, 6 games, before he can add a steam comparative with last year's offense. The group likewise lost Christian Kirk and Chandler Jones, 2 significant players at key positions. Arizona's prosperity depends on it finding a way to not tail off again as the season advances. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.